Alright, so the full summary is out, and it turns out that we have a new development regarding the Marcus Mars mystery. So, last video, I was kind of speculating who could be showing up in front of Marcus Mars by the end of this chapter, and it turns out every single guess that I threw out there was completely and utterly wrong. I mean, none of the characters I listed yesterday has any sort of bubble or liquid sound effect. Not even any of the comments I saw had any character mentioned that has bubbling or liquid sound effects. I saw some people throwing out Dragon, which I thought would be pretty cool if he showed up, but I don't think he is. Some other people mentioned Kizaru, which I would have loved, but hey, Kizaru's the light man, not the bubble guy. I even saw some people going to bat for the ancient robot, which is an idea I kind of talked about, but I dismissed it because I was like, hey, the ancient robot is bigger than an actual giant. If this giant robot flew up to the clouds and surprised Marcus Mars, then this man must have no observation hockey, you know? So I was like, okay, it can't be the ancient giant, can't be Dragon, it's not anybody I mentioned, because I did mention the Lelucia weapon. I talked about Enel, which was kind of more of a joke than anything, but I really like the Enel route. At some point, Enel's gonna come in here, guys, I swear. So I talked about Enel, and then I also talked about Vivi, Wapol, and Morgans. And honestly, I still think those ideas are pretty solid. I think all of these ideas that everybody has talked about are very solid options. At some point, they're gonna do something. But what we got today was a hint to who it may be. We learn that whoever is showing up is accompanied by bubble or liquid sound effects. And let me tell you, out of the 7 or 8 people we just talked about, none of them fit this description. Not a single one of those characters is accompanied by any sort of liquid. Well, I guess you could argue Dragon, since Dragon is always shown with wind and rain, but I don't think rain would be described in this manner. I feel like rain has a very particular sound effect that isn't exactly described as bubbles. But yeah, who could it be now that we have this extra hint? So like most people, my first guess was probably Khalifa, because she does have the bubble devil fruit. But of course, Khalifa is also kind of a joke answer, because there's no way that Khalifa of CP0 showed up here on Agate Island and is now for some reason about to face off Marcus Mars to defend Vegapunk's Denden Mushi. There's no reality where that's actually going to happen, and not to mention, I hate pulling this card out, but not even Oda himself thought that Khalifa was CP0 material. The only reason Khalifa and Bluno are in CP0 is because the film Red director convinced them to do it. So yeah, I truly don't believe that Khalifa, the bubble devil fruit user, is the answer here. So with her eliminated, who could it be? Another joke answer I thought of was, hey, maybe it's Arlong. You know, a lot of people like Arlong. You know, he eventually, I think he's gonna come back, right? It's Jinbei's brother. At some point, Arlong the Fishman's gonna come back, and he might have a redemption arc. I don't know when, how, why, or where, but you know, I think there's some good in Arlong. But I don't want to lead on the Arlong fans too much, because I don't think it's him either. He has absolutely no stakes in this fight, and why would he even be allied with Vegapunk in the first place? So now, with all those bad guesses out of the way, what I think this might be is a brand new Seraphim. You know, a lot of people, back in the day, you know, like a year ago, ever since we first met the Seraphim, people were expecting an ultimate Seraphim. They were expecting a Blackbeard Seraphim, a Lost Seraphim, a Weevil Seraphim, and most notably, a Buggy Seraphim. The reason why I think it could be a new Seraphim is because of the distinct bubble and liquid sound effect. Because when we met the Seraphim, every single time they zoom in on their green blood bracelets, not really a bracelet, it's just like, you know, transparent, you could see through it. But they zoom in on that, and we always get that sound effect. I think that that is what this could be. We could be witnessing the birth, the showing of a Buggy Seraphim, or an Ultimate Seraphim. You know, it could go either way. It could be like this weird amalgamation of the warlords, or it could just be the one warlord that Vegapunk put the most stock into. And I know the idea of a Buggy Seraphim is really bizarre from the outside looking in, but in the world of One Piece, Buggy is very feared. You know, people look at him as a Yonko, a former warlord, the cabin brother of Shanks. He was also part of the Roger Pirates, which later became the Pirate King crew. Like, Buggy, in the verse, you know, if you're just the guy reading the newspaper, you'd assume that this guy is a maniac, right? Yo, like, Buggy is a part of the same age bracket as Shanks and Blackbeard. So if you didn't know any better, and if you haven't met the guy, you would assume that he has a really high ceiling, that this guy is actually a madman guised as a clown. So I wouldn't be surprised if Vegapunk said, hey, out of all the Seraphim, Buggy's gonna be numero uno. You know, Seraphim number 0. And maybe Vegapunk gave him the best stats. Maybe Vegapunk gave him the best Devil Fruits even. And let's be real for a minute. But a Buggy Seraphim would be so out of left field, so bizarre, so strange and funny that I could actually see Oda doing it. But yeah, that's my first guess as to what this could be. I do think this is a Seraphim. I have seen some people saying that this could be the other Seraphim, like the Jinbei one, the Hancock and Mihawk one, and Kuma one. But I don't think it's actually them, because nobody has had the chance to free those Seraphim, right? Like last we saw, they were still trapped in the sea bubbles along with the rest of the Cypher Pole agents. And I think that they're still there, right? I mean, in this chapter, from what the full spoilers told us, Kaku is still in the control room. You know, Stussy's there as well. Like, a lot of these guys just haven't really moved. And we saw the Straw Hats, and none of them have the Seraphim. So I am assuming that the Seraphim are just chilling underground. I don't think they were able to escape the bubbles, and that is why I personally don't believe that it's one of the 4 Seraphim we fought in the past. So yeah, I think this is a brand new Seraphim in general. Hey, it could even be just a straight up brand new Vegapunk creation. You know, this could be like a demon that Vegapunk created, because he did create the dragon over on Punk Hazard. Vegapunk is capable of that. So who's to say that he didn't just straight up create a artificial demon with Seraphim powers? Because when you really think about it too, Vegapunk could have hid the broadcast Denden Mushi anywhere. You know, we were like, hey, it could be on a different island. It could be hiding in plain sight. It could even be with Dragon. Vegapunk could have done a lot of things with this Denden Mushi. But no, he left it in Punk Records. He left it in the middle of a dark room. When have you guys ever seen an object placed in the middle of a dark room that is unguarded? That never happens. I mean, I play video games, and let me tell you, when I see an object sitting in a dark room, red flags, you know, the sirens are going off. No, dude, Vegapunk definitely beefed this up. I think Vegapunk left his strongest creation here to fend that Denden Mushi, right? Because Vegapunk was really confident. He said, yo, 10 minutes? These guys can't do it, man. Like, no way anybody comes to this island and gets that Denden Mushi in 10 minutes. I do think Marcus Mars will be able to beat whatever this is. I think it would be kind of insane if Marcus Mars lost the battle here. But when you take into consideration the fact that there is a time restraint here, I don't think Marcus Mars can do it. Especially not under 1 minute. Yo, there's 1 minute left. 1 minute until the broadcast airs, bro. When we learned there was a 10-minute timer, I thought it would be like, you know, 6, 7 chapters. You know, no big deal. I wasn't really too stressed about it. You know, if they want to drag it on, so be it. As long as nobody's able to stop the broadcast, totally fine by me. But Oda, in a surprising turn of events, actually made this timer go by really fast. You know, I think last chapter, yeah, I think it was last chapter, they said, yo, we got 6, 7 minutes left. And I was like, oh, dang, okay, you know, like, at this pace, yeah, 3, 4 more chapters until the timer's up. But no, dude, 1 minute left. Yeah, 1 minute left. Yeah, Mars, with how shocked apparently he is at the end of this chapter, I don't think he could do it, man. I mean, hey, if it's up to Toei, Marcus Mars is going to be staring at that shadow for like 30 seconds. Yeah, no, he's done, dude. I'm excited. I am so excited to see what Vegapunk is cooking here. But of course, though, I don't want to lock myself in that one mindset that it is a Seraphim or a weird Vegapunk creation. I do like taking other things into consideration, and I love hearing what you guys have to say too. So another thing I thought of that this could be would be Neomads. A little bit out of left field, I know, but hear me out. Neomads was formed with Judge and Caesar. We don't exactly know what their goal is, but when they shook hands, they both, in their thought bubbles, came to the conclusion that they don't like Vegapunk, or they wanted to recruit him or something. We don't have subtitles, you know, we don't have dialogue boxes whenever we get the cover page stories, so we're not too sure what their intentions are. But when they shook hands, Vegapunk popped up right there. Now, you might be wondering, Sai, then what's up with the bubble noise? Well, Jerma, well, the Jerma soldiers, mainly, you know, the brothers and Reiju, they all have bubble shoes. You know, like, whenever they walk, you get the boing, boing, pom, 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 you know, you get that weird sound effect. So maybe this is Jerma? I mean, I know it's not, like, the best guess, right? I just wanted to throw more than one option out there, but it could be them. And hey, since we're talking about Denden Mushis and how important they are with the broadcast signal straight up coming out of a Denden Mushi, maybe Judge and Caesar start playing the message off of all of their Denden Mushis, because the entire Jerma fleet is comprised of giant snails. So there is a chance that maybe if the broadcast dies, Jerma carries it on. I don't know why they do it. Maybe they'd want to see off their dead friends' final words. I'm not super sure. But yeah, like I said, I just wanted to have more than one option here. You know, Seraphim, I feel like that's kind of where everybody is leaning towards. As far as what model, like I said, I like Buggy a lot. After the Buggy Seraphim, I like the whole thing where it's a brand new creation. And then last place, I'm going to put Neo Mads right there. But yeah, besides them though, I would love to hear if you guys had any interesting ideas to throw into the mix. And yeah, I'll make another video here talking about the Gorosei specifically, because let me tell you, those guys, man, the Gorosei, yeah, they're looking pretty good, man. They're looking pretty good. I can't say the same for my Vice Admirals, though. Those guys have severely disappointed me. But hey, thank you guys for stopping by to this video. I really appreciate it, and I'll catch you in the next one. Sai signing out.